On Monday, the president claimed without evidence that Tylenol or acetaminophen may be linked to autism. Now, advocates in the autism community are joining medical professionals in pushing back on that claim.
9 News reporter Rachel Kraus joins us now. Rachel, advocates and those in the autism community say these claims do real harm.
Yeah, a neurodivergent researcher and woman herself with autism from Arvada is calling the president's claims false and dehumanizing. She says there are barriers, challenges, and disabilities that come with an autism diagnosis, yes, but also exceptionalities from that community. Othering those with autism can lead to bullying in schools and for adults impact career and educational opportunities.
We can do real harm if we're not paying attention in the right way.
President Donald Trump's unsubstantiated claims that pregnant women taking Tylenol may be connected to autism has sent shockwaves through the medical and autism communities. Dr. Katie Petito says it's concerning.
Yeah, if we are talking about autism as an epidemic or as a crisis, we are inherently dehumanizing autistic folks. And narratives like we encountered this week from the White House only serve to perpetuate the stereotypes of neurodivergent folks and how we interact.
Petito is a psychology researcher focusing on neurodivergency. The president's claims, she says, impact her professionally and personally.
As an autistic woman, as an autistic mother, it's also disheartening knowing that we are going to have to work significantly harder to combat this narrative.
Petito says viewing those on the spectrum as a medical condition to be cured or fixed devalues those with autism.
Autism is a natural form of brain diversity. So if we are treating it as a disease to be eradicated, the implications of that are really scary.
So it frames autism as a mistake, and it reinforces the incorrect and damaging idea that autism is like a tragedy or a failure of prevention rather than a natural form of human neurodiversity.
Kristen Edwards' 10-year-old Jackson has autism. When the president was on TV talking about autism, she says he wanted to know why. Why her son has autism isn't a concern for her or for Jackson. She worries now it will be for others and even lead to bullying.
It highlights the differences of our children in a negative light, and it just feeds into that narrative, and that's very, again, frustrating as a parent.
Edwards says rather than blame, she's focusing on what she can do to improve the lives of those with autism, from the classroom to the community.
I think the best thing we can do is to support the grassroots efforts to mediate this rather than focus on the blame.
Edwards, who is also the president of the Autism Society of Boulder County, says they're going to continue to offer support groups and community events for those with autism and their families. She says it's critical to ensure that community can access the support, help, and resources to reach their full potential, regardless of the rhetoric and politics now trying to take center stage.
Yeah, and while the information is still really confusing for a lot of folks.
Yeah, and yet the science is quite straightforward on this.
Yeah, and I never thought about that, about why you would, if you have a child with autism or, you know, why they would say, what, you've got to find out why? And it's like, you're perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. She said she was sitting and watching the news and, her son asked, oh, the president's talking about autism, why? And she explained. He was like, oh, well, I don't care why I have autism, and went back to playing his video game.
Yeah.
That's not a big concern for them, but, making sure he has the supports he needs in school, the resources he's going to need to lead a fulfilled life, that's critical for these kids.
Yeah, it's all about how the terminology is used and everything else.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you so much, Rachel.